1. That was your fault. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. However I do that countdown, it's all fucked up.
It's already fucked.
We've already fucked it. Welcome back to the TMCJ podcast. We are on episode 66. We're 3 episodes away from the epic 69 episode. I held off mentioning it for 4 weeks, Blue. I had to say it there.
Yes.
Anyway, so I had a story to tell, and I had a story to tell based on a story you told me. So, for the podcast, when we get into the segments, why don't you tell the story, and then I will continue on from there. This is an experience that you and Alicia had going out to eat.
Okay. Have I heard your story, by the way, already or not?
You have not heard this one before.
Okay, right. So, the other day, me and Vampy were out. We were going to a breakfast place, which happens. It's a cafe which happens to have the word Boston in the title of it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty late in the year now, so it's pretty chilly out. And it was the morning, so we got there and we were like, crap. There's quite a few people here. There's a queue had started to form. Anyway, we finally got there. The people were like, hey, please, you're going to have to take a seat outside because we haven't got enough room. We're like, all right, fine. And they told us, don't worry, your food will be about 20 minutes. Just use your phone because, like, every eating place you go to at all these days, you now have to order over the phone.
Not here, by the way. I'm assuming it's a UK thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
No, we still have wait staff here.
You guys don't use contactless, really, do you?
No, I just this past year got my first contactless card.
Yeah, everyone's had contactless for years in England.
Oh, I know. It was there in 2017. I was like, what the fuck is this witchcraft? Because in the US, like, not a thing.
So anyway, we finally got onto the... First of all, it's one of these ones that they don't have their own site. You have to get... Well, they kind of do and they kind of don't. You have to get the fucking QR code reader up on your phone, then scan the thing on the table, then order what you want. Anyway, I don't like it.
Pain in the ass all around.
We ordered, and then, like, 10 minutes later, our drinks came out. And foolishly, I got a salted caramel milkshake. It was delicious, but it was also cold. And we were sitting outside on a cold morning.
Yeah, in late October.
Yeah, it was a bit windy. Anyway, yeah, so we're waiting for our food. Vampy is waiting for her bus. And she's like, right, it's fine. I've got like 50 minutes, right? 50 minutes before the bus arrives. It's plenty of time, right?
Almost prolific.
Wrong. 40 minutes later, still fucking nothing. And Vampy goes over and up to the bar staff, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's not a bar, but the staff. She's like, is our food kind of coming? Bearing in mind, she had ordered an Eggs Benedict. That's basically, I mean, it's egg on toast.
I can cook that in like 10 minutes.
Yeah. And I ordered a cheese toastie.
Again, something that can be cooked in minutes.
Yes. And yeah, so the staff's like, oh, we're really sorry. It'll be a little bit longer. Just have to keep waiting. We're like, okay, we're British, right? So we are painfully polite. So we will sit there and we will wait. But we will be judging you.
While you wait.
Internally. Heavily. And so 20 more minutes pass. And then the food arrives. So it's an hour late. The bus has already been and gone. And they're like, oh, we'll also get you, because you've waited so long, we'll get you another drink. What I hate about it the most was when he came over to the table. And this is going to sound really fucking petty and shit, but he crouched down, like, next to the table. Like he was talking to a fucking kid.
I fucking hate when waitstaff does this. It's like, hey, we know that we've been a dick, but can you play nice with the restaurant for us, please?
Yeah. And, they're like, free drink on the house. What do you want? And because it's all like electronic, there's no menus. We couldn't look at any of the drinks. We were just like,
You're already in a
well,
fucking
have the
hurry.
same.
Yeah.
Yes. So I got incredibly, like, so much fucking sugar and dairy in me while I was outside and freezing fucking cold. The food arrives, and my cheese toasty is cheeseless. It's got all the
It's
other
toast!
stuff in it.
You can literally make it in 3 minutes by yourself in a toaster.
It's got like chili in it. It's got red onion. It's got some other stuff. It's not bad, but it's not a cheese toasty.
Because it's missing the cheese.
And yeah, so
all the dairy went into your drink.
We were very disappointed by Boston that day.
And this was the reason that I wanted him to tell the whole story, because Blue like mentioned this earlier, and his comment was like, you know, I'm disappointed. Like I mentioned, first day I've gone into the office this year, and I came back like talking about going in and out of Boston, and Blue was saying sarcastically, somewhat jokingly, I was disappointed in Boston recently, and he was talking about that. And I was like, that is not an authentic Boston experience, because somebody would have kicked over a fucking table if that had happened there. And the reason I had him go through that whole story is because... So, when I used to commute into Boston on the regular, and I used to take the train in, I'd come into, like, you know, North Station, big train station in, you know, northern Boston that connected to all of the different subway lines and stuff throughout the city. I once saw a guy complain about his order being late before he ordered it.
What?
Let me explain that. He was complaining about it being late. He was prepping for it being late. He complained about being late before he'd even placed the order. So in North Station, there's a Dunkin' Donuts in the middle of the station where all the trains come in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So went over there, and he was going to order like just an egg sandwich, right? Goes up there, and like I was waiting in line too because I hadn't had breakfast that morning, so I was also grabbing breakfast at this Dunkin' Donuts in the middle. Not the healthiest thing, but you know, quick and easy, and I can eat it on the way to the office. He went up, and his exact quote, and I'm not going to quote this right because this was like 2.5 years ago, so I like I only remembered it because you were telling this story. He said something's like, "Hey, the chicken's in yet? Because before I order this sandwich, I want to make sure it's going to come out in time."
It wasn't a complaint. It was
"Are the chickens in yet? I want to make sure my sandwich is going to come out in time." That was what he said before he placed the order.
I think that's reasonable. Like you're at a train station, right?
Yeah.
So you're obviously on a time limit.
Exactly.
So he's saying, yeah, okay, I get that.
I get it. It was a very, but it was just I loved that comment. Are the chickens in yet? Because I want to make sure I'm gonna get my sandwich on time.
That sounds like some weird euphemism that someone's trying to.
But it was like, but it was such a like that. But it really did show the juxtaposition between like the UK and the US. Like in the US or in the UK, it was like everyone was very polite. You know, even if something goes wrong, you guys aren't saying anything too much. Like it took you 40 minutes to go up and ask them what the fuck was going on.
Except the elderly.
Oh yeah,
the elderly will complain.
Well, they you know they're on the clock.
Yeah, wow, even more so. Yeah, no, I'm not hating on everyone elderly, but like, God, bless her, my gran could complain for England. The number of times I used to work at a supermarket, and like every week, I'd be at home and they've done something wrong again with the bread.
I mean, to be
the
fair,
labeling wasn't correct or something, and I'm like, yeah, all right.
To be fair, my mother is just, you know, she's moved into her 70s now, and I learned sarcasm from her, and it was like learning from like a Zen master. Just I like to think that I learned from one of the best, but no, it just like that would have even I, like, I'm normally very, very patient with restaurants. I can see when things are going wrong, but like if it's been like 5 minutes and I'm waiting for like somebody to take my order or for somebody to take my drink order or something like that, be like, hey, and like just you got to be in it. And in some countries that's the way to do it. Like in Japan, actually, you have to shout. Like you're expected to shout.
Yeah, I feel like I'm slowly getting to that point already though. Particularly where it comes to, and this is going to sound bad until I explain myself, where it comes to tipping. I am a avid tipper. I definitely tip people whenever I have a meal that's not like, fast food or something. You tip.
Yeah.
What I don't like is that places have started automatically adding a tip on to the bill before they give it to you.
That's very interesting coming from the UK, because my understanding was that wasn't really a thing over there. That often, at least.
Yeah, no. There's a place that we love to go, me and Alicia, and yeah, it's like a really nice meal, and I've really enjoyed it. But every time I get the bill, I'm like, it feels like a kick in the shins, seeing like 12.5% added on extra.
Which is, again, tiny compared to, like, in the US.
Well, yeah, normally I tip 20%, but, like, the fact that it's, I mean, if... there has been times when I've been like, I don't really want to give it to...
It depends on the location, yeah. Like, once it becomes automatic, then it takes away... The whole point of the tip is, like, somebody's encouraged to provide you good service, and you, if you have received good service, are obligated then to pay them for, the fact that you have been served well.
Yeah, there was a time I was at an Italian's, and it was really kind of a fancy place. I got delicious food, but whatever. So when we got there, it was raining, and for a start, we had to wait for 2 minutes outside in the rain because of COVID rules and stuff. Like, we couldn't even stand inside while they're wiping down the table. So I was a little bit peeved when I went in. Then they took our drinks order. I said, I'll have, Captain Morgan's rum.
Yeah.
And Alicia was like, oh, I'll have something. And there was a bit of a mix around with Alicia's drink, right? I can't remember. Yeah. I think she was trying to decide
there was some kind of a mix-up. Doesn't matter what it was, but there was some kind of a mix-up. And
they come out with our drinks. And they brought the right drink for Alicia. But they brought me a beer. Like, he looked at me, he was watching me, he heard me say rum, he wrote something down, and he came back with a beer.
It's not like a mixed drink order, it was just...
I don't know. Anyway, so like, there's times like that where I'm like,
Well, that's like me going to a bar and like, I'll have a glass of bourbon, neat. And they come back with a glass of wine. Like, they're both sweet, but...
You did good, son, but not good enough.
Wrong bottle. Yeah, no...
Anyway, I feel like I'm an absolute asshole now for spouting off against all these people. Well, I'd like to say...
But no, I think that it really does... A good restaurant is defined by the fact that the staff actually give a fuck. Like, honest mistakes every now and again happen. Like, everyone is going to, like, have an off day and they're going to forget something, they're going to screw up an order, they're going to do something wrong. But sometimes it's like, what? But at least own up to it.
I don't shout at the person.
Yeah.
I just want to have the choice of saying, okay, you haven't really earned a tip. Like, not gonna lie.
there have been times where, like, the pub that I go to across the street from me that I really, really like, like, their big thing is their specialty pizza, and they have rotating taps for beers. So I've ordered a pizza before. Like, I've ordered, like, a buffalo chicken pizza, and they've given me a barbecue chicken pizza. But I know the bartender, so, like, when they brought it out, and, like, I've actually had the bartender come out with it and go, like, oh, this is what you ordered.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? But I like both pizzas, so I was like, you know what? It's fine. I like this pizza. I'll pay for it. I'm good with this one. But at least in that circumstance, they offered to go, like, it was my mistake and whatnot. But I was like, I like both pizzas. I'll have this one. And I'm still going to pay for it. But it's perfectly reasonable for the customer to go, you gave me the wrong thing. Either give me the right thing, or, I don't have to pay for this. I'm still going to
pay for the food.
Sometimes, yeah, it depends on how bad the order is. Like, if I ordered a pizza and they gave me a Caesar salad, then I'm not going to fucking pay for it. I was
just thinking that.
So it depends on the circumstance, but I don't know. We stayed on this topic longer than I wanted to, but I think this is... I don't know. This is something.
This a vegan chicken?
We've been. I feel like lately on the podcast we've been focusing on like more broad topics, and this is just something I wanted to talk about because it's just it's down to earth. It's something that everyone goes through. Like you go out to restaurants, and yeah, exactly. Oh God.
When was the last time you went out to have fast food?
Fast food? Oh God.
Yeah. Because I was in the car with Alicia's mum the other day, and we were talking about fast food, and I was like, man, I probably haven't had fast food in like 4 or 5 years.
I usually, like, fast food usually fucks with my stomach, so, because I don't have it that often.
I mean, it fucks with everyone's stomach because it's made of crap.
Yeah. I think the last time I had fast food was probably about a month ago, and I had Burger King.
Okay.
Like, I wanted something for dinner. I didn't have stuff in the fridge. I hadn't done grocery shopping. I didn't feel like going out for food. So, on my way home from somewhere, I stopped and I got, like, a fry and, like, some chicken.
Yeah.
And that was it. It's pretty good. I like Burger King. They're generally pretty good.
Burger King, I would say, is one of the more likely ones, the ones that I enjoy more, but at the same time I think it's probably the most expensive one, at least over here it is. They do really fucking good chips, and I mean they're called Burger King, they're meant to have good burgers.
Wendy's
I wouldn't go to KFC really anymore because
KFC
shit chips, and honestly it's a 50-50 dice roll whether you're going to have diarrhea that night.
There's I feel like a lot of my fast food opinions have been shaped by my hometown because we had every variety of fast food there at one point.
Yeah.
We had a Burger King, but it went away. Like, it got sold and turned into a pizza place, and the nearest Burger King was like a town away. So it became like a treat if we ever went there when I was a kid. We had a McDonald's, and it was okay. It was pretty... It's McDonald's. We had a Taco Bell / KFC, and the manager...
Taco Bell.
And the manager got shanked before the restaurant even opened.
Jesus.
Apparently the manager had like some grudge going on, and one of the people doing the tiling work broke a tile and shanked her.
Wow.
I have no idea but so whenever I think of KFC or Taco Bell, now I think of shankings. So it's still good food, but I think
Is this a bit of pottery in my chicken?
Yeah, just
the calling card.
Yeah, we never had like a Wendy's in my town, but I do like Wendy's too. But I think fast food, like anything, any kind of indulgence, it's something that's best like you have it every now and again, because otherwise it's gonna fuck you up.
Would you call Subway a fast food place?
Sort of.
It's kind of on the border, isn't it?
They're on the upper border.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, their bread has a lot of sugar in it, so in the US, their bread is actually considered a pastry.
But it's not going to give you the shits.
No. I had a summer job working at a Subway. The food is pretty good, because we could have, like, meals there. You have to really pay attention to, like, it depends on what you're getting on your food. Like, if you can make a really healthy, lean sandwich at Subway, or you can make, like, a diabetic's nightmare.
Yeah.
It's really up to you, depending on what you put on the sandwich.
I really do have more faith in it, though, than, like, any other fast food. Because, I mean, first of all, you can see the person putting it together. And second of all,
the other thing,
not really much in there that can, like... There's no super greasy shit.
Having worked there, I can attest to the fact that they do prepare all the vegetables fresh every day. Like, so we actually had to chop all the vegetables in the morning in prep time before the store opened and then put them all out. Like, that was... The longest a vegetable would be, like, in a tray to be used was 2 days. So if we chopped one and there was some leftovers for like peppers and stuff like that, we'd throw it in the freezer and it would, it might come out the next day. But any longer than that, we'd throw it out and chop a new one. And we were always chopping fresh vegetables every day. So they do have, they're at the upper echelon of fast food, but I would still kind of consider them on the border.
Yeah. There's so whenever me and Alicia go out for a meal these days, the way we judge how good a place is by their nachos.
Nachos, really? Okay.
Yes. Nachos tell you a lot about a place, in my opinion. And
the nachos at the pub that I go to, the pizza place, they're middle of the line. Like, they're cheese, they're chips, they're chili, and you can add any toppings you want to them. But they're basically middle of the road. They're normally like a pizza and beer place, but
it's kind of it's like you can it can range from a little bar snack you have with your beer, like you're saying, to a full fucking meal.
Yeah.
And basically the price is pretty much always the same, because it's not like a full meal, but it's I don't know. So the latest one we had, it was the most bamboozling nacho pile we've ever had.
I can't wait to hear this.
For a start, okay, so there's a place called Giraffe. I don't know if you have it in America.
No, we don't. Or at least not. So, at least not in Massachusetts. Not that I've seen.
It's not super common, but it is a chain. And we got 2 side dishes, because this is before we were going into cinema. And we got barbecued corn ribs.
Okay.
Now, we thought that was going to be some kind of, ribs. Barbecue ribs.
Yeah.
No, it's corn on the cob in the shape of ribs, which was a bit of a fucking cheat, in my opinion. It wasn't bad, don't get me wrong. Had like some...
But it smacks of false advertising.
Yeah, a little bit. I wouldn't pay the amount of money for it again that I had.
No.
Anyway, and then the nachos came out, right? Same price as these little fucking pieces of crap. And it was like a fucking mountain. So immediately, high points, right?
Yeah.
It was covered in like salsa and cheese.
Nachos made sense. The weirdo ribs didn't.
Salsa, cheese sauce, and I'll come back to that in a minute. And like chili stuff and sour cream and a bunch of other things. It looked delicious. It started out very well. We started eating it, and then I realised, hang on a second, this isn't actually proper salsa. Right, this is not... And there's a very small amount of it. Second of all, no jalapenos. You cannot have nachos without jalapenos.
I agree with this, but some people can't handle the spice.
Then don't eat nachos. Again, the sour cream, it was all on top. There was, like, after the first layer, you didn't get so much. There was a bit more spice on the actual nachos themselves. There was, like, the dusting. Like, okay, that's pretty good, but personally, I don't know. I prefer to have, like, a chili sauce on there that you can judge it yourself.
Yeah.
The cheese sauce was fucking delicious for the first 2 bites. But then, the cheese sauce has gone through every single layer of the nachos. And this is like cheap fucking American cheese sauce.
Oh, so actually, you know what? It's because of FDA mandate, it actually can't be labeled cheese. In the US, it's called cheese product.
Right. I mean, it might have been called that in the menu. I can't remember.
I'm just saying. No, it probably wasn't. They'll usually just say cheese on the menu because it's. But with the actual packaging, they call it cheese product.
It tasted exactly like, and people from England will understand this, the cheese you get in the Dairy Lee Dunkers.
Yeah.
Like, that is the cheese that it was. And it was on all of the nachos under the top third. And that was the only thing on all of them. So it was delicious for the first third. And then it sucked ass for 2/3 more. Very bad. We gave it like a 4 out of 10.
It encourages you to eat fast.
Ugh. Well, no, not that. It's just the sheer amount of sauce they put on it literally drowned the... Like, you couldn't pick up the fucking nacho without getting your fucking hand wet with dairy cheese crap. I'm watching you, Giraffe. The drinks were good, though. The alcohol was very good. And it helped me get through the nachos.
I feel like there's restaurants where you can go good with the drinks, and then maybe the food isn't so hot. All right, so we're...
Sorry, that was quite a long ramble.
It really was, and I did have another topic to talk about, but I honestly think I may save it for later, just because we're already like near the end of the segment. So I think maybe let's tell more restaurant stories, because we went on with so long with this. I didn't think we were going to go this far.
Yeah. Well, okay, right. I've got plenty of nacho fucking
stories. All right, hold on. You just told a nacho story. Let me go with another story. I'm gonna tell a travel story as it relates to restaurants.
Gotcha.
So when I was in Japan, this was before the lockdown, like literally a month before the lockdown started.
Yeah.
I was in this... Japan always fascinated me with the way that they did this shit. Like, they have so little space, so everything is always stacked on top of each other. So, like, a block or two away from my hotel, I was kind of getting lost in Shibuya. I ended up at this ramen bar.
That's the greatest city name, by the way.
Shibuya?
It's something that you shout at the end of a game.
Exactly, it sounds like Shibuya!
Shibuya!
Yeah, it does. So I ended up at this ramen bar, and literally I've never
had ramen.
It took up a corner of a building. It was tiny. And so, like, I walked in there, and it was this tiny, like, cluttered-in space, and it was really hot inside because the steam from the cooking was heating the restaurant because it was so small. The bottom...
was it a restaurant, or was it, like, a little ramen cafe thing?
It's hard to draw the definition from what I saw in these inner Tokyo, like, type places.
Right.
There were restaurants. I went to like bigger restaurants while I was there, but this was like, you walk in and there were 3 stools on the bottom floor, and then a tiny little staircase that went up, and there were probably like 6 stools on the second floor because there was no kitchen, and there was a third floor above that probably had maybe another 6 stools. So the entire restaurant kind of could maybe seat 16 people total. Like, it was
on 3 floors.
Yeah.
That's really...
And it was literally just tucked into the corner of a building, so it was very tiny. But I went in there, and they had a little tablet screen, and you punch some buttons on there, you choose your language, and you do whatever on there. You order your ramen, you order your drink, and then in 2 seconds, like, somebody comes around the corner, plops a bowl in front of you, puts a drink in front of you, and then walks away. That was it. Like, they didn't say a fucking word to you. And it was again, this tiny little cramped in area. I fucking loved it. Because it was just like, I pushed a button and I was like, immediately like, beer, ramen, tiny little cramped in. It was the middle of winter too. This was February, keep in mind.
Yeah.
And so, like, I had just come out from the cold. I get a hot steaming bowl of ramen with like meat and noodles and veggies and like a tall glass of, like, I think it was Sapporo, the beer, and it was perfect. Like, it wasn't an elaborate meal, but I feel like a lot of restaurants, it was a tiny amount of... When I talked to our head of quality in Japan, because he was like, I was out there doing an audit with him, and he was telling me, like, the Japanese, like, it's obvious when you think about it, but he was really explaining it in personal terms that, like, they only have so much space. Like, they have these islands, and the islands are already small. But on top of that, the islands are mostly mountains. So they have to do, like, so much with so little space. So this place was literally like a nook that was 3 stories tall that they'd turned into a restaurant. And it was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like... I mean, ramen is kind of the soul food of Japan.
It's like, it's the pasta with the meat and the veggies, and it's warms you up when it's cold.
Broth. Yeah. Yeah, no, I really fucking want to try some ramen because obviously,
Yeah.
I've had I love noodles. I love spicy shit. Like, I've never actually had ramen there.
Getting
No.
some like authentic ramen, like you really got to get for the good. If you ever get over here, there's an authentic like ramen place a block away from me. I'll have to take you
I
there.
mean, Japan is just a nerd's heaven, though, isn't it?
I went to Akibahara, and honestly, it was awkward even for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's the place with the.
That's the hyper nerdy place. There was a 5-story building that had
the weedy shit.
that had a giant anime girl pasted on the side of it, and I'm like, I have gone to a place that even I do not want to be in.
Yeah.
Like, I like anime, I like nerdy shit. This is too much for me. Like, I'm out in the middle of a fucking city. Every store I walked in had, figurines and anime and video games everywhere. I was like, this is a bit too much for me. So I went back to Tokyo proper.
I see. Yeah, no, I'd fucking love to see that shit. I think that'd be amazing. Maybe I'd probably cringe just as hard as you. I mean, you're fucking American and you're cringing, so it's like, how bad would I be?
I think you say that it depends on like which segment of America you come from, how tolerant you are for cringe and for what
you
cringe.
talk to random people in a bar, all right?
I do.
That's more than I can handle.
To be fair, that's true. I'll just talk to anyone. I actually had a really good conversation with a guy that didn't speak a word of English in Japan. I went to a sushi bar in the hotel. And like I was eating there, I was trying different, like they had like really nice sakes, and so I was trying like samples of different ones. And this guy and I had like a great conversation. We only said like 8 words to each other. He barely spoke like 5 words of English, and I barely spoke like 5 words of Japanese.
Yeah.
But it was enough to go. The body language and the conversation was enough to just like hold a. That's one of the things I used to love about traveling, was just meeting up with random people and talking to them about random shit.
I mean, do they have like apps these days that allow you to just like talk into a
phone
and then it automatically translates?
One of the things that I find, so like I know 3 languages and I have a smattering of a couple more. And one of the things that I've learning other languages is that a direct translation is always wrong. Like, if you do a direct translation, you're always, gonna fuck things up, because
it's always gonna be a bit wrong, but it's not gonna be vile.
People will generally understand you, but
yeah,
the context is so much more important. Like, some of the best conversations I've had in other countries where people don't speak the same language as me is when I'm doing like a weird hybrid of English and the native language, but I'm doing it in a way that that meets the what's the word? Like the context of the environment.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like the story I was like telling is when I was down in the Dominican, visiting a friend of mine who was down there on a thing for school. I went out to a casino that was attached to the hotel, and there were all these old Dominican ladies, and like we were all like playing blackjack together.
In the casinos, isn't it?
It was a bunch of little old Dominican ladies, and they all started winning when I sat down at the table. And of course, that made them very friendly. They were just like, "Oh no, he has to stay here. Get him more drinks. Like he's here. We're winning now." And but I had conversations with them in mixed like Spanish for the most part, but then I would interject English when I didn't know the right word. But knowing like how Latin American Spanish works, I was knowing the local dialect was a lot more important than knowing the language like in its entirety, if that makes sense.
And that's how you got to Sugar Mummy.
I did not bang any of the old Dominican ladies at the pub.
I didn't say you fucked them. You said that.
You said that.
Get off your chest, Kaiser. No, sugar. That doesn't mean you banged them necessarily.
Does it not? I assumed sex was always implied in the sugar daddy, sugar mommy kind of dynamic. I've no context because I've never been either. But
well, I mean, no, but I don't know. Anyway.
We went on this a lot longer. I actually had a very serious topic to talk about in this first segment. We never got to it. But maybe we'll get to it next week.
In segment 2.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun talking about this stuff, though.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Konnichiwa!
Konnichiwa, bitches! Alright, we're gonna call this there. So this is gonna be the end of segment 1 of the TMCJ podcast. Thank you all for listening, and you'll hear us again momentarily for segment 2. Welcome back to the TMCJ podcast. We're on segment 2, our media segment, and this week we had a movie picked up, but we did not actually watch one this week. So look forward to...
I did.
Well, yeah, you did, but he doesn't want to spoil it for me, so we're not going to be talking about that one. Look forward to next week, though, because apparently you guys... the next... Alicia's pick is Phantom of the Opera, right?
Yes, very excited.
A movie I've never seen, and I've never seen the play of it either, so it's a classic that I've always wanted to watch, but I have never read. I've not read, I've not watched, I have not seen the play. I'm completely uncultured when it comes to this particular item. You look like such a fucking plumber when you do that face.
So rude. I'll have you down.
No, it's because you got the fucking 5 o'clock shadow on the chin. Blue, by the way, has shaved his beard until and just left the mustache, but he's still got the shadow on the chin. So when he pulls back, you can't be no sophistication, none whatsoever. Anyway, me on the other hand, I have been rewatching a few things this week. Particularly, I got it in my head to rewatch the series The Expanse, a series that we talked about last year and really got into.
You got into?
Well, I got into.
I loved the first season of it, or the first 2, I can't remember, and then it just got dull as fuck. Well,
I mentioned this. The 4th season kind of shit the bed, and then the 5th season brought it back a bit. But the 6th and final season is coming out this December, so it actually makes sense to rewatch it now. Although that wasn't the reason I decided to. The reason I think that it might be good to talk about it again during this segment, though, is because another series that I've seen the whole thing of, that I also really love, another sci-fi series, is Farscape. And this series came out in the late 90s, I want to say. And I feel like it's a really good series to put up against The Expanse. Because The Expanse is hyper-realistic, right? In the way they... No, it is. It really is. Like, think about all the space battles, the way they handle physics, the way that they handle the way human bodies, like, deal with high-G maneuvers and things like that. They introduce aliens, but... Like, the aliens, in theory, aliens are out there, right?
Sorry, no one listening realize I've been pulling faces. That Kaiser's not just fucking
I'm reacting to his faces.
Yeah.
But but in terms of the way that humans interact, particularly in the 1st and 2nd season, when you're dealing with human beings and how they deal with the physics and G-forces and living in space and all that, that's hyper-realistic. It's more realistic than pretty much any other sci-fi series I've ever seen. That being said, the one thing that Farscape is the exact opposite. The sci-fi is very, very soft. But the character development, I feel like, is a lot more realistic than in The Expanse. That being said, like, the reason I'm saying that is because in The Expanse, like, when the characters all get together, there's some mild conflict, but they sort of all kind of mesh together and get along pretty early on. In Farscape, it's the opposite. This guy gets shot away from Earth into a wormhole, and then he ends up in the far side of the universe, and there's all these aliens that are basically humanoid, and they all have these spaceships and stuff like that, and they don't really care about, like, hard physics or anything. So the science goes out the window, but all of these different alien species, they all mistrust each other. They're always constantly trying to betray each other, and it takes them, like, 3 seasons before any of them start to really trust each other, and even then, there are qualms.
Mm.
So
when we talk about aliens, we're talking about like Zerg, or are we talking about like Protoss that can get along?
Yes, we're talking about Protoss.
Okay.
We're not talking about, like, there are aliens that are as ravenous and kind of alien to human beings as them, but most species in the Farscape universe are much more along the lines of...
It's more Mass Effect-ish.
Yeah, exactly. Very close humanoids. But I think one of the most realistic things about the series...
Can you bang the blue people?
What?
Sorry, go.
There is a blue person. There is a blue person, and that blue person is a sex object. But my point is that in that series, the characters, they all get together and they don't immediately trust each other and become friends and become a crew. They're all constantly trying to leave each other behind, fuck each other over, and just like jockeying to like get, you know, their own interests put in front. Yeah. And I find that's why I love the series, is because they put that sort of realistic character drama. Like, if you put a bunch of random people who don't know anything about each other, they've been forced together, they're not even from the same species or the same culture, and now they're all expected to
kowtow.
Yeah, get along and be on the same crew. Of course they're gonna, you know, try to fuck each other over.
Yeah. I mean, so far it sounds like a space sitcom.
That's not wrong, honestly. That maybe that's why I like it.
Dave banged Blurgle Lurgle last night.
What's up with that? No.
What's the deal with tentacles?
Why is this lady got blue skin?
Yeah, go on.
No, I mean, that's really the extent of it. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it, because, like, The Expanse, even though there were, like, a lot of early conflict, I feel like it gets resolved kind of easily, to the point where the crew of the Rocinante, they become kind of tight-knit very quickly in terms of screen time.
Yeah. With The Expanse, so one of the things I didn't like was that they went up to the point where the detective dies.
Yeah.
By the way, there's going to be spoilers in this, obviously.
This series has been out for 5 years now. If you haven't seen it, fuck off.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Jeez. But keep watching.
It's a great series. The Expanse is a great series. Highly recommend. No matter what we say here, Expanse, great series to watch. Watch it. Farscape, also great series. Watch it.
Once that bomb had gone off with him in like the nucleus of the genetic biobomb, after that everything just went sideways. Like, not as in everything went wrong. I mean, you can't get much worse than that. And so they're like sideways into now there's a dimension bubble where they're just firing it to more places. We don't give a fuck about all those other places. We just give a fuck about, like, our universe, which was already under threat.
That was one of the issues that I had. I really, really loved the Cold War dynamic between Earth and Mars. Like, that was one of my favorite things about the series, was this escalating tension between these two worlds. One who has a dream to make their world a garden world, and the other one who had a garden world and they fucked it up.
Well, that's the thing, like, between those civilizations, there was, like, a moment where they were all at peace and happy, and then the next season came around and they were like, we've got to have them at war again with each other. Let's have some rogue member of the military fuck things up.
The war made sense. Because I think that one, like, the war between Earth and Mars had a very World War I kind of feel to it. Because in World War I, like, the whole reason that all of Europe went to war was because one guy shot one other guy, and then it just set off the giant cascade of all these alliances going like, oh, we need to do this. And that's basically what happened in this series. It was like, you know, one thing happened, and it was what happened over Ganymede in Jupiter's orbit. That happened, and that set off the whole cascade of Earth and Mars fighting each other. I thought that was actually very realistic, the way they portrayed that.
Okay. But the only thing I really remember from that season where they go to out of
Go to the
space.
alien world, yeah.
The only thing I remember is the fucking dude at the beginning that was trying to beat the speed record or something into it. And he just got
Yes, and he got flattened. I love
Yeah.
that scene because he like the guy's like doing like speed records around, like doing loops around Saturn and Jupiter, and his girlfriend leaves him while he's away doing these speed records to bang his brother or something like that.
Yeah, literally.
And to the point where like in her breakup letter, his brother's behind her in like a thong.
Yeah, it was a bit weird.
It was a bit weird. And so he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go for the ring, and this is for you, baby." And she's like, "Oh, this is gonna be waiting for you." And she pushes her tits together and goes like, "When you come back." And then he fucking pounds into the fucking ring and kills himself in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, the ship's fully intact, but he just gets...
We're talking again. If you've seen The Expanse, you know what we're talking about. If you haven't seen The Expanse, watch the fucking Expanse. It's a great series. If you have Amazon, it's free. Watch it. Season 6 comes out in December. We're not sponsored by The Expanse.
No.
But no, it's a great. It's honestly a great sci-fi series. If you like character drama, it's got that. If you like hard sci-fi, it's got that. If you like you know, even a little bit of soft sci-fi, it's got a little bit of that.
If you like getting really attached to a character and then seeing him die horribly way too early, then love it.
Don't spoil that.
We already said it.
All right, fine, whatever. Well, no, we were talking
He
about
was the best thing about that fucking show, and they fucking canned him.
I still think so. I'm not going to say too much, just to not. Well, actually, no. Fuck it, I'm going to say everything. Eamon is my favorite character, but I think there's a stereotype character that I really like. Like I liked Arthur Shelby, so of course I liked Eamon Burley.
Yeah, you like the think later, shoot first characters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite kind of characters. And Eamon, like he comes off at first as like a brutal sociopath, but he actually, like, once you get to know him better, you realize that he's a person from an extremely traumatized and fucked up past who's trying to do the right thing and just has no concept of right and wrong anymore.
Ooh, I feel like that's the kind of thing that when someone comes up to you and he's like, "Oh, this my friend." Oh, I know he's punching a woman right now, but he's a really nice guy on the inside. Like,
yeah. Again, you can't really excuse a lot of the fucked up things that he does. But at the same time, if you know his full backstory, you can understand why he does the fucked up things that he does.
Fucking gremlin. Oh, it's fine. Just don't give him water after midnight. It's fine. It doesn't happen. Just fucking... Oh.
I'm not saying it wouldn't be in a person's best interest to shoot this guy in the head if he wasn't on your side. But from watching a TV show, he's entertaining. And I actually was rooting for him a lot of the time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like, quite often the most interesting ones are the most psychopathic ones, generally.
Well, I think that comes down to the fact that most people aren't sociopaths. And so watching somebody who... Well, exactly. That's where the entertainment comes from. You're watching somebody who's different from yourself.
Yeah, I mean, if that weren't the case, Tokyo Ghoul, no one would watch it. It's like, it's about murderers killing each other and eating each other, like cannibalism. I'm pretty sure there aren't many cannibals on the planet, but I'm pretty sure that show is pretty popular.
Can I actually, a little bit of an anecdote here. I was talking to Juana Raymond earlier, and apparently one of their local school districts banned Squid Game costumes.
Yeah.
And
did you already tell me that, or was it Alessia that told me that they did it over here?
It was probably Alessia that told you they did it over here, because I just found out about it like a little bit ago. Okay. But the immediate response is like, okay, but they can still... Apparently, some kids, and they dressed up as like Freddy Krueger, Chucky. All that's fine. You can dress up as like a sociopath, but don't wear a square button on your face.
Square
Let me read the exact response I had to Raymond, because I love this. Love the way I put this. It was... Oh, wait. Sorry, I scrolled too far.
Smooth.
What I said was, like, what do they think is going to happen? Is little Timmy going to put a square mask on and take out little Susie with an R8 revolver? Like, I will never understand the person who thinks that preventing somebody from seeing a piece of media is going to prevent them from doing some sort of an act.
To be fair, though, I don't know what age range you're talking about, but kids should not be watching Squid Game.
No. Oh, God, no. Like, at least, it depends on how young the kid is.
I mean, we're talking about the hand mangling here, right?
What?
And there's, like, the hand mangling scene, and there's...
Oh, yeah.
There's a viscera.
I'm probably a really bad... I'm a really bad judge on this sort of stuff, because I saw some pretty fucked up movies from a very young age. But I think it... But, again, this is one thing that has always bothered me about this sort of thing. Because it's the school doing it. Like, it should be up to the parents. Like, my parents, like, they were like, okay, he's old enough to see this, and if he sees this and he has problems with it, he's going to talk to us about it, and we're going to talk to him about it. And I was fine. I grew up, at least in my opinion, pretty well adjusted.
Wait, hang on. So what were they actually doing? So they're going into school wearing this, like...
They weren't going into it. The school preemptively banned any children from wearing Squid Game outfits. Any of them.
What the fuck would they?
Again, I don't know.
No one even did it. Like, it's the lamest fucking outfit.
No child actually dressed up as a fucking triangle and shot anyone.
Yeah,
it was
you
just
look like a
the
fucking
school.
dildo.
The school just decided that we're gonna ban Squid Game because I guess the teachers had been watching it. I don't know. Like, again, this is a fucking elementary school. Why the fuck?
I mean, you could just go in and say, I'm not a Squid Game, I'm an Among Us character, actually. Because, I mean, it's the same fucking outfit, and it's not scary.
No, it doesn't make any sense. It's a bunch of moral busybodies going like, oh, I need to protect the children.
Someone should go in as, like, an Ood from Doctor Who. Then they'd be fucked up.
Oh, God. They're like, are you a Squid Game character? No, I'm a slave.
No, I'm just a squid.
I am a squid. There is no games.
There are no games for the Ood. Honestly, they were so fucking sinister the first episode they were in.
They really were. Oh, I love that episode. The demon pit or the devil
voice.
pit. Yeah.
With the where they like tap the ball because it was blinking.
Yeah. Oh, I fucking loved that episode. I love that episode in general, just from the whole like doctor finding something that's like people getting terrified from the people out in the middle of vacuum, like possessed by the devil and stuff. Oh,
and fucking the rabid tentacles when they went evil.
Oh my god, I loved that episode.
Sorry, we got back to talk to you
back when Doctor Who was good. We're still on media. We're still talking about media.
True.
This is back in the David Tennant era, when it was still. I want to say it was season 2 of the new season of the new Doctor Who.
I have no idea.
It was because Rose Tyler was still there. It was still Rose Tyler.
Was it?
No, it was. Yeah.
I thought it was Martha.
No. Martha wasn't there at that point. It was still Rose. I remember because she had this whole dialogue thing with one of the Ood, calling them Ood or Odd.
Oh, yeah.
And her accent came through pretty clearly when she was doing those scenes.
God, earlier you're saying you're struggling to a Chav accent. Rose Tyler, Chav accent.
Oh my god.
God, I just want to watch that. Although the one thing I did hate about that episode was the first guy to turn, the evil one with the writing on his face, was Toby.
It was, yeah, his name was Toby.
I just fucking hate that name. I'm sorry.
For those that don't, should I say?
That's fine.
Can we reveal it? The fact that Blue's actual name is Toby?
It is. But God, I think his was spelled with an
I feel
I
like
at least,
both of us have very, very like generic middle of the road names. Like in
I
reality,
don't think so. It's quite not many people are called Toby. But it's like whenever you hear it in a show,
I know a few people named Toby.
I know more fucking dogs called Toby than people.
Oh, that's actually true. My next door neighbor had a dog named Toby.
Yeah, a lot of people do. Whenever you're watching a show and you hear someone with a name of someone you're sitting with, you're kind of there's a level of awkwardness to it. It doesn't matter who it is that you're with, and if it's not your name, it's great. You can have a laugh at that person. Toby characters tend to be, I can't say that word on here, but screwed over, fucked up individuals far more than others. Go.
This has nothing to do with movies or anything like that, but I mean, obviously, people who don't know, my real name is Matthew. I was in a meeting at work a few months back. There were 5 people in the meeting. 4 of us were named Matthew.
Yeah.
And so literally it was just like somebody would go like, "Hey, Matt, can you?" And everyone would look up.
Just like fucking meerkats.
It's like
cats.
But which one? Oh my god. And you know what the funny thing is? Like, I actually just hired somebody. Yeah. And their name is Matt. Her name is Mattie.
Oh, really? Wait, Maddie or Mattie?
Mattie. Mattie.
Okay.
Yeah. And
is that her full name?
Yeah. Full first name. Oh. Mattie.
I don't think I've heard of people with that name, but I've never met anyone.
I've actually, she's the second person that I've known with the full first name Mattie. One of my friends from high school, her younger sister was named Mattie, spelled the same way.
Yeah. I think back when I was in school, many, many years ago, I think one year we had a girl called India, a girl called Asia.
Interesting.
And another one as well. And it was so fucking weird, because like, these names you just don't generally hear.
My high school was very, very generic, because it was my hometown was like half like Irish immigrants and half Hispanic immigrants. And so they were all like first of all, pretty much everyone had Bible names. Because if it was Hispanic and Irish, Bible names. And then there were a few random wild cards, but that was basically it. We had like a lot of very, very, like, we were a very, very generic school. Except for one of my best friends. We used to joke, like, he was Puerto Rican, right? And, you know, very light-skinned, but he had the blackest name ever.
Right?
His first name and his middle name, Jerome Jamal.
Yeah, okay, I can see where you come from there.
I won't say his last name on the podcast, but though that was his first name and middle name, and it's just like, it's like, really?
I don't know. Look, I've got four names.
Oh yeah, I only have 2. One
of which is the whitest name, which is Trent.
Really?
Yeah, love that one. It's a bit of a Chad name though. At the same time,
I feel like we've moved on from talking about anything. We didn't watch a movie this week, so we're just gonna kind of keep going with this sort of stuff. So hopefully you're enjoying the free form. But
oh yeah, I've been watching trash TV.
God, but I want to say one more thing on the name front.
Go.
And this is a fun story. I think I've told this story before, but I don't remember if I've told it on the podcast. And if I haven't, well, you get a refresher. One of my friends, his name was George, spelled with a J. He half Puerto Rican. And we had a substitute teacher in one of our classes at one point. Yeah. And somebody is like, reading through the list, of people. He doesn't know people in the list. He sees his name and goes, Jorge? And George just turns back to me and looks me like right in the eye and says this loud enough for the teacher to hear. It was a small classroom. And goes, everyone wants to be fucking Spanish. Just, the teacher looked fucking mortified but this was George was that kind of guy. Like, he was just like, he didn't give a shit who was here. He just, the guy was brilliant, by the way. Like, if he ever like picked something up, he would learn it like that.
Yeah.
Like, aced his calculus courses. Like, he decided he wanted to play drums, and he was doing like really high tier like drum solos within like 6 months. Like, the dude was brilliant, but he just had absolutely no fucking tolerance for bullshit.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, he's a great dude.
Yeah,
anyway.
I've been watching a British comedian called Ramesh Ranganathan.
That is.
Well, I don't know if he's not
that sounds like a
originally
Final
British.
Fantasy name. That doesn't sound like a real person name. That sounds like a JRPG name.
He's Indian, but I think he's been in. I assume he's a British citizen. Anyway,
it doesn't matter.
And he made a program, I think a year or two back, called The Ranga Nation.
Okay.
You like that name, don't you?
I do actually really like that name. That was good. I liked it. It's clever.
So he's a pretty funny guy. He tends to do some like more like political commentary comedy. And yeah, he's this Indian guy with a lazy eye, and he's one of these people who will make fun of himself. He'll make fun of other people. It's that kind of comedy. The ones
those are the best kind
of down to.
Honestly, those are the best kind of comedians.
So his program, he gets like it's basically a podcast. So I've actually been listening to it in the background while I do other things. He has two famous people on who I don't really give a shit about, and then he has like the Ranga Nation group, which is made up of a bunch of people who have been defined by a single word or like a single phrase or something, right?
Yeah.
So there is like
Curry.
anti-tech.
Sorry, I was being an asshole. Go on. So
the person that like doesn't use technology, for example.
Yeah.
There's someone who just has the word privileged written across them.
Yeah.
Vegan, never voted, wheeler dealer, all these kind of things. And he's also got his mum every week.
Okay.
And yeah, they just talk about this random crap, and it's interesting because they've got like people talking on there about their experiences in life. So it's quite a wide pool of people. There's like 20, 30 people, and some of them are just you just think they're stupid. but also they're not like trained to be on TV.
But those are so one of the first things that made me want to do a podcast was that.
Yeah.
Like, people who weren't trained to be on camera, people who weren't trained to talk about shit. Like, people who just... I loved watching...
Said as is.
Exactly. I loved watching people just talking. Just having a conversation. You remember that video I did on Father's Day? The one with me and my dad, just talking about The Godfather. Like, people actually... Like, that video got a lot of views, and people actually enjoyed watching it. Because it was just...
They got some interesting stories, and...
Yeah, it was just me and my dad shooting the shit, talking about a movie. So I think that what you're saying there, that guy, like, he really hit on a good point. Like, that's something that's fun to watch. It's fun to listen to. People want those authentic kind of conversations.
Yeah. So they'll put out, like, little, like, vote kind of things each episode. And one of them was, like, so he turned to everyone, he was like, okay, how many of you have, I don't know, pissed in the shower, I think was one of them.
Mm.
And a surprisingly worrying number of people put that in.
I have.
No, but like, see it as a normal thing.
Well, the thing is, like,
if you're busting for a piss and you can't get out, then fine.
All right. But... So, fun fact.
Yeah.
About this particular point, and this is something I think might be interesting about like the way media influences people. I never did that until I was 32.
Okay.
I never pissed in the shower before. Never. Not once.
Right.
And it was only... Well, it was because somebody... I was watching something and somebody talked about pissing in the shower. I'm like, You know, why don't I? The drain's right there. I can aim for it, and the water's going to wash it all down. I'm the only one that lives here. Why wouldn't I?
Well, what it went on to next was...
Okay, go on.
Do people, like, wash their legs and things? And again, a lot of people don't wash their legs. I'm like,
Wait.
you just pissed in the shower. And you're not washing your...
So first of all...
Go on.
I have what, Dude, can I call it male genitalia? Like, do I have to call it something different now? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I have a tube that the urine comes out of.
Yes.
So, it doesn't go on my legs.
Yeah, but if you're in a confined space, you're going to get some splashback. Or your feet. How big is your shower?
It's actually pretty big.
Okay.
I actually have a pretty nice shower. I have a big soaking tub, so
right.
There's a lot of space in there. But no, there's no. No, I just you just aim at you use your hand and you go okay at the drain, done. No, this is an important conversation.
So do you not wash your legs then? Even if you
I wash I use a loofah with soap, and I wash my entire body, legs included.
Yeah.
But a new experience that I've only done for the last 2 years. I do occasionally relieve myself in the shower, but I aim for the drain, and I do not pee on my legs. Who the fuck pees on their legs?
Well, maybe it was more aimed at the women in the crowd, maybe.
Okay. All right, ladies, don't pee in the shower. That's a privilege for us men. I'm sorry, ladies, that's for us men. Only us can pee.
Sorry. This topic went so badly out of...
I'm sorry. I derailed it. I was the one that derailed it. I'm sorry about this. Go on, Blue. Keep going. Blame this on me. Blue is...
Where do I go from here? That's the problem.
Well, clearly, what happens after they clean their legs?
But yeah, so a lot of people are saying, they'll wash their bodies, and then soap suds and things will naturally go down their body, and so they don't need to clean their legs or their feet.
That's fucking retarded. I'm sorry.
You have very strong opinions in both directions on this. It's great.
No, I mean... I've worked in clean rooms. You actually have to... You want to, scrub. I actually had to, I had to change out of my street clothes and shower before I went into clean rooms. Because I used to work in aseptic clean rooms.
Yeah, that's a bit different.
You need to clean off a lot of... But my point is... Yes, that sort of works, but... the whole point of scrubbing is you're cleaning off dead skin, you're cleaning off any bacteria or anything that's clinging to your body. You really should scrub your... By that logic, you don't need to use soap at all. Just use shampoo. It's just going to drip down your face and you're perfectly fine. It's fucking stupid.
I don't, my crotch is fine. I put shampoo on and it eventually reaches my pubes.
Yeah, let me shampoo my pubes. I'm clean.
I am very sorry to anyone listening to this episode.
No, I'm not sorry. All of you out there, fucking wash yourself. Use soap.
And pee in the shower, for fuck's sake.
Peeing in the shower is fine as long as it's your shower and you're the only one peeing in it. And you wash your legs. Don't pee on your legs. Who the fuck is peeing on their legs? I'm sorry. This is actually bothering me. Who the fuck pees on their legs?
I think I'll have to bring up another of these Ranganation topics for next week, I think. Hopefully one that's less crude. Control yourself, guys. You've got a quiz to do.
Alright, fine. Finish your story. You were talking about a comedian, talking about something.
That was it. That was it. I was discussing.
Oh my god.
That's why we leave it.
Okay, I guess we'll end it there. Please use soap, people out there. Like, and actually scrub your entire body. Don't just assume the soap that you scrub in your shoulders is gonna wash your crotch. Like,
one actually quick thing.
Okay, what is
so
it?
obviously, because like I said, these people don't have an off switch really, because they are not used to being in front of cameras, right?
Yeah.
And this comedian's mother is right there.
Yeah.
One dude starts talking about Grindr. And she looks over and she's like, "What's Grindr, son?" He's like, "Oh, don't. No, mum. No. We're not going there."
So, how would you feel about thing for the future? How would you feel about actually having my mom at one point on the podcast?
Your mum, fine by me.
I feel like it's just gonna go great.
I will feel very awkward. I'm sure you two won't, but I will.
For those that don't know, my I've learned my kind of over the top sarcastic attitude from my mother for the most part. Anyway, I think this is going to be where we're going to end segment 2. This very eclectic media segment. Anyway, end of the segment 2 of the TMCJ podcast. You'll hear us again momentarily for segment 3. Welcome back to the TMCJ podcast. We are on segment 3, our wildcard segment, and this week Blue has something prepared. He has had this prepared for 2 weeks now because he wasn't sure if we were going to do the quiz last week. And, well, why don't you tell us what it is?
We are back on the Trial of Tricks and Truths.
This is the one where you had me guess whether achievements were a thing in the game or weren't. Okay.
And we discussed whether I could expand it to quotes and shit like that, but honestly I think achievements are more funny.
Achievements are more funny, but I do think that you should probably expand it too. For future growth.
Yeah. I mean, eventually I'm going to run out of games. But yes, you did fucking awful last time.
Hey, hold on. I was like even-ish.
You got 2 or 3...
No, I think I got a decent amount. I am going to flip back in my notebook because I believe that I actually didn't do that bad.
A couple of seconds later, never mind, let's get on with
Never mind, I did terribly. No, I think I actually did pretty good.
I think you're 3.
I feel like I did good, and I feel like in the back of your mind, you're just like, he's so terrible.
Maybe I just hate you.
I found it. I got half of them, you jackass!
Fuck off, you didn't get half of them.
I got half of them!
No. Anyway. Are you ready?
Alright, I'm ready.
Okay. Question number 1. There are 10 questions, remember, for those at home.
Yep.
Question 1. In Golf with Your Friends, there is an achievement to be eaten by a gingerbread man from the practice area called Who's the Food Now? Side note, the gingerbread man is called Gingy. Or, is there an achievement for getting the golf ball into the drifting toilet on the space station called Space to Let?
This is tricky because the first one sounds like something that would actually be in the game, but the second, but I don't think there are any achievements in the practice area, which makes me think that the second one is accurate.
Have you played the space station before?
Never.
No, right. I know it's there, but I've never played it.
I am going to give the developer some credit, and I'm going to say it's the gingerbread one.
Okay, you believe that the gingerbread man, known as Gingy,
Yep.
is the... Well, you are correct.
Hell yeah!
1 point. My god. Okay,
Boom.
yes. And regarding the space to let thing, back in my hometown, when I was very young, there was a sign up near our house that said space to let on it. And someone kept vandalizing it and putting an I between the 2 and let. So it's the space toilet. And that's why that was there.
See,
Okay.
in my hometown, they would have just kicked it over.
Okay, question number 2. In Tetris Effect, there is an achievement called Tsefi Edis Certet, and the description reads, play in an annoying reverse dimension, but it has all of the letters back to front.
Okay.
Or, there is an achievement for rotating Tetris pieces a total of 10,000 times, called Spin Doctor.
Oh, shit. The second one, you're good at these because both of these sound reasonable. I am going to go... The second one sounds too reasonable. I'm going to go with the first one. The one that has to do with the, reverse back to front thing.
Okay, you're going with the Tsefi Edis Certet.
Tsefi Edis Certet, yeah, that one.
Yes, which reads Tetris Slide Effect.
But reversed.
Yeah. 2 for 2.
Hell yeah!
Bam.
You see,
one.
I
Go on.
I was really, really tempted to go with the second one. I felt like the second one was right, and I'm like, that's too reasonable.
Yeah.
It's too reasonable. The first one, like, felt wrong, and so it was so right.
There is not an achievement for rotating a Tetris pieces a total of 10,000 times, but there is one for rotating for rotating Tetris pieces 100,000 times.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Called Spin Artist. So I was edging the truth there a little bit. But man, you saw through it. 2 points.
That good?
One you're going to be proud of me for, I think, and coming up next. In Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, there is an achievement for getting a spirit to fall in love with you called You Ain't Never Had a Friend Like Me. Or there is an achievement called Get the Toad, where you get the toad.
Oh god, this is actually difficult because I haven't gotten to a point where I've gotten either of these achievements. The reason Blue's saying that I'd be proud of him is this is a game that I picked up recently and have already dumped like 20 hours in, and I'm barely.
And I have never played.
It's a very pen and paper RPG kind of video game. I'm really, really not sure. I want it to be the first one, but I'm going to choose the second one. I'm going to say Get the Toad.
You're saying that the achievement for catching a toad
is called Get the Toad.
It's called Get the Toad. He's on fire. That's 3 out of 3.
Yes!
Jesus, I thought I had you so good with that one.
No, you did. I actually thought it was the other one, but I was like, my gut told me to choose the toad.
Shit.
I followed my gut.
Well, I can't say you're doing shit this time.
Alright, come
okay.
on. Next one.
Question number 4. In Tabletop Simulator, there is an achievement for using the line tool with 7 other players to create a light show. The achievement is called Laser Light Show.
Mm-hmm.
Or, there is an achievement called Checkmate for winning each of the classic board games at least once against different players.
Oh fuck, this is I don't know. Alright. This is the first one that I'm going in blind on. Like the other ones, at least
you've played a lot of it.
I have, but I've never read the achievements in the same way that I have played quite a few games before and never looked at the instruction book. I actually, when I was home like a year ago, I was going through like some old stuff that I had in my old bedroom, and I found a bunch of instruction books to a bunch of N64 games. I'd never opened them. They were in mint condition because I never touched them.
Except, I mean, to be fair, if there is one game that you've looked at the achievements for, and that's the Into the Breach.
Well, yeah, because I 100%ed that one.
Yeah, and so I have not chosen any from that.
Because I would have known them. Yeah. So I'm going to go with the latter.
Okay, so do you want me to read them out again?
Yep. It's for the people listening.
Yep. There is an achievement for using the line tool with 7 other players to create a light show called the achievement. The achievement is called Laser Light Show. Or the second one is called Checkmate for winning each of the classic board games at least once against different players.
Yeah. And I'm going with the second one, winning a board game with the classic board games against other players.
Okay. Combo Breaker. He has been defeated.
Shit!
Yes, there is literally no way of the game checking whether you've won a game of chess, mate.
God damn. I probably should have figured that. But I knew they had all these other basic games in there. I figured they'd have an achievement for them.
There was a classic tab, and that's what I remembered. The one that's real is so fucking dumb. Like,
who the fuck does that? All right, 3-1.
It is. Bam. Okay. Moving on to one that most people will have heard about. In The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, there is an achievement for beating a talking horse in a game of Gwent called Hark Not to the Naysayers.
I love that.
Or, there is an achievement for making 10 opponents bleed while poisoned and burning simultaneously. As in, the effects simultaneously, not the 10 targets at once.
Yeah.
And the achievement is called Overkill.
Oh, this is tricky. I don't have either of these achievements in the game, even though I've played the game quite a bit.
You have. You don't have that many achievements at all on it, surprisingly.
I don't, because when I played through the game, I wasn't, like, achievement hunting. I was just, like, playing through for the story.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with, at risk, and I feel like this isn't right, but I'm going to go with the latter, the one where, while you're afflicted
bleeding,
with...
poisoned, and burning.
Yeah, going to take out people.
It would be ridiculous if there was a talking horse.
There is a talking horse in the game.
Oh, is there?
There is.
Okay.
But go on.
So you think it's overkill?
I think it's overkill.
Correct.
Shut up. The thing is, like, there actually is a talking horse in the game.
I didn't know that. I just made that shit up.
No. So there's a talking horse in the game. Spoiler alert for anyone who doesn't know. There's a talking horse in the game. And by the way, if you've met the talking horse, you've fucked up your save. So don't go that way.
Okay. Also, I like the achievement name I gave it. Hark Not to the Naysayers.
I was partially convinced because I was really feeling like that might be it because there is that in the game. There is something similar to what you're talking about.
There's a lot of weird shit in there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I mean, how would the horse hold the Gwent cards anyway? Right, 4-1. Fucking smashing it.
Yeah, I keep it up.
In Fallout 4, there is an achievement for ordering your companion to attack an enemy holding a Fat Man warhead launcher called Fetch.
Okay.
Or there is an achievement called Home Run for scoring a home run. They're both pretty dumb.
They're both pretty dumb, but I think I know this one.
You do?
It's been 4 years since I've played Fallout 4, like since I beat it. But I'm pretty sure I remember this one. I'm going to say the home run one.
Okay, you think there is an achievement for scoring a home run?
Yeah, because... And the reason I think this, and the reason that I'm confident in this one, is that a huge chunk of the game is set in the baseball stadium in Boston, the Yankees or Yankee Stadium. No, in in fucking Fenway, and Fenway is called Diamond City in Fallout 4, and so I think they left the bases down in the city. And if you run around them, you'll get the home run achievement. So I'm pretty sure that's it. So I'm going to say home run.
On the other side, though, there is the primary main companion is a dog.
I never took the dog with me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I always took the women with me.
Okay. Okay. So you take home run.
Is it right?
You're correct.
Yeah, baby!
Shit.
Alright, I've got at least half of them right.
My goodness. In Factorio, there is an achievement for winning the game by crafting no more than 111 items. The achievement is called Lazy Bastard. Or, there is an achievement for completing the game without killing any enemies called the Pacifier.
Oh, this is tricky. I don't know if you can complete the game without crafting. If only because I think that it's easier not to kill enemies than it is to craft a limited number of items. I'm gonna say the pacifier one.
You think pacifier is real? So you don't think Lazy Bastard is real?
I want to be fair, I want Lazy Bastard to be real. I want there to be that achievement. I want you to like finish the game and just go like, "Hey, fuck you."
Okay. So this is question 7 and you are incorrect.
Fuck! Really? Lazy Bastard is real.
Lazy Bastard is real.
Oh my god.
Yeah, 111 items. Yikes.
I didn't even know that was... I feel like there's way too many items for that. Okay.
Well, but you don't need to... The only thing you need to build is factories. In fact, no, you could even make a factory.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I can see that.
But I don't think it... Because, I mean, there's nothing that purifies the air, so enemies will always attack you. Unless you got mods.
Yeah. It's making sense now that you're explaining it to me, but...
Yeah. I thought that was going to be an easy one. I was like, whew. It was the fact that the moment I saw the achievement was called Lazy Bastard, I was like, I have to have this. This is a fucking win.
Well, and I still can't get... That was a good one. Alright, next.
Yeah. Okay. Question number 8. In Stardew Valley, there is an achievement called Foxy for catching the mysterious stranger red-handed. Or, there is an achievement called Full House for getting married and having 2 kids.
Sorry, you cut out there. Married and what?
There is an achievement called Full House for getting married and having 2 kids.
Full House.
You think Full House is...
I think Full House. I think, yeah, I think Stardew Valley is wholesome enough to have an achievement for that.
You think it's wholesome enough for you to have sex with characters in game?
Yes.
Okay. Because I didn't know you could have kids.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can have, what's it? You can have, husband, wife.
What are you going for right now?
Spouses. I couldn't remember the word spouse. Spouse.
Yeah, I knew you could like go out with people and stuff. I didn't know you could have kids with. So you think that's a real one?
Yep. Right? Wrong?
It is.
Hell yeah!
I was like, oh, I thought by putting in stranger red-handed with the word.
You
foxy,
were like
have...
I wasn't nearly as confident as I seemed. I was thinking like, can you though?
Oh, they added a new character.
Yeah, I was definitely not sure, but I stuck to my guns.
There you go. I was gonna put one in which was gonna be like, get Mac's relationship with everyone in the town. But I was like, I don't know if that's possible, and Kaiser would probably know about that because he's played it more than me.
Yeah, that would have been obvious. Yeah.
Okay, 2 to go. In Hades, there is an achievement for finding and equipping your father's original weapon. The achievement is called Like Father, Like Son.
Okay.
Or, there is an achievement for earning a loyalty card, which is called To Chiron's Credit. Also, how do you pronounce, or Sharon, or...
Chiron is the way I'd pronounce
Chiron. It. Yeah, okay, cool.
Ooh, this is tricky. I don't have either of these, and I played the game quite a bit.
I like how you're saying you don't have either of them when one of them is not real.
Well, I mean, my point is, like, if I had one of them, it would be obvious. I'm like, oh, right. Yeah, obviously I don't.
Typically, I do aim for ones that you don't have.
Yeah. I'm going to actually go with the latter, the Chiron's Credit. And the reason I'm going with that one is I feel like Chiron's a character that you meet throughout the game, and I feel like he might have some kind of a weapon that you could unlock and use.
A weapon you could unlock and use? What?
Yeah.
A loyalty card is what you get from him.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I feel like there might be something he gives you, from going to him.
Okay. So you don't think you find your father's weapon?
You might, but I don't know. I'm guessing. So I'm saying Chiron.
It's a lucky guess. You got it right.
Sure, fuck yeah!
Bam. And on to the final question of tonight.
God, I'm actually... 10. Damn.
This is the best you've ever done.
Yeah, I'm 5... Yeah, I've only missed 2 of them. Alright, let's see it.
Step it up.
Let's see if I can do it.
In Faster Than Light...
Yep.
There is an achievement for destroying every ship you come across and winning the game.
Okay.
Called Lord of War. Or there is an achievement for reaching Sector 5 without firing a single shot, using an offensive drone or teleporting, which is called Coming In for My Pacifism Run.
Fuck. I actually am having a hard time with this one.
So, destroying every ship you come across and winning, or getting to Sector 5 without firing a shot, using an offensive drone or teleporting.
I'm going to go with the latter.
You think that the pacifism one is the real achievement?
I think the pacifism one is the real achievement.
Okay. You got it right!
Hell!
Shit!
Fucking yeah! Alright.
Oh my god.
8 out of 10. Jeez!
I would like to say, when I wrote this quiz, this was the same week that we watched Lord of War.
Oh, yeah.
So it was...
a little bit of guns.
Don't know if you picked up on that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, holy crap, what was that, 8 out of 10?
It was 8 out of 10, yeah. I only missed
Jesus.
2 of them. Yeah.
My god.
Oh my god. Like, normally, like, last time I looked back, I was 5 for 5. It was dead even last time. This time, yeah.
8. Holy shit.
I stepped up my game.
Bam.
Oh my god. Alright, well, anything you want to say to end off the podcast? Any final words? Any final thoughts?
It's been a short one this week, but honestly, it's probably been one of the more fun. Are you just checking the time?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Yeah, honestly, I think this has been one of our better podcasts recently.
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes we go on long, but, I mean, if we go on long because we have a lot to talk about, great. But if we go to...
Short and sweet.
Like, we set things to an hour and a half. Like, that's our target. And if we're doing an hour and a half and everything we had to talk about fits into that hour and a half, hell yeah.
Yeah. Anything we're aiming for next week?
Yeah. Oh god, next week. Fun things. So, a few things. One, we are going to be going into our next book review.
Oh, which book?
Do you hear that? I'm sorry.
I don't think so, no.
There's a bird.
I heard something.
There's a bird fighting with a dog out my window.
Ooh.
Like, not...
Anyway.
Sorry. No. So there's a book I've been reading through called Going Home.
Dog fighting with birds.
God damn it. No, there's a book I've been reading through called Going Home, and it's basically like a book about in the eastern U.S. if like everything went out like immediately, if there was an EMP and like all electronics went out,
okay.
and it was like it's about this guy like trying to get home, and I'm just finishing up the book, so I feel like that's something that I'm going to be talking about next week.
That does sound pretty good.
Also, segment 2, Phantom of the Opera. We are going to find time to talk about that. And topics are going to be whatever the fuck we feel like, because that's what they always are.
Well, that's normally book review, isn't it, in segment 3?
What?
Who knows?
What? No.
Don't we normally review books in segment 3?
Yeah. Yeah, the book is going to be segment 3. I was working my way back. So book is segment 3, Phantom of the Opera is segment 2, and then...
Yeah, we never know what we're going to do for segment 1.
Segment 1 is just, funsies. Let's go.
Yeah,
and maybe, actually, honestly, maybe in segment 1 we'll talk about the topic that I wanted to talk about this week.
True.
The topic...
we don't forget.
By the way, just... No, let me mention it right now, just for an idea. It's the concept of the somewheres versus the everywheres. The people who can, like, basically function anywhere in the world based on their career, or people who can, like, they really are linked to a very specific place in the world. That was a weird sneeze.
That was a very big sneeze. I apologize.
It doesn't matter. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. This is going to be the end of, not even segment, episode 66 of the TMCJ podcast. Thank you all for listening, and you will hear us again next week.